Once upon a time, two boys grew up playing hockey in the village of Terrace, British Columbia. One of them went on to play in the National Hockey League. The other became a comedian. Now, one flies planes and coaches youth hockey. The other is still a comedian and owns new skates. This is their podcast, Enjoying Orange Slices with Jeff and Ian.
The podcast is called Enjoying Orange Slices. Our guest is Daren Millard. I'm the co-host is Jeff Sharples. Oh. My name is Ian Bagg. And this is your travel show.
Hey, I just go question here. Preferably better than that. Do you guys do an intro to
That's it.
This, or was that the intro?
That was the intro.
Okay.
Yeah. We could do an intro and talk about your hat, but you might want to explain that hat to everybody.
It's a
Sweet
man
City
that
Golf
is
Club.
It's a guy that isn't gluten free, just bragging about how he can eat whatever he wants.
No, it's the Wheat City Golf Club in Brandon.
Oh,
but I don't know why they don't put more
Kings.
than Wheat City on it. It just put wheat. It is an odd hat, but considering they gave it to me for free, I'm willing to give them some.
You're like me.
You're willing to wear the triple extra large hat for free?
Yeah.
Free is better than cheap.
I love it.
And you know what?
For the Wheat Kings.
My other line,
me too.
Motto that I stick to is why pay retail?
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Free is better than cheap, and why pay retail?
Well, that's our line too. Why pay retail when we can pay more? That's the Sharples family trait. That's our saying.
That's because you're too nice.
We could get a good deal, but we'd rather pay more.
Yeah.
So
you're too
above
nice.
Cost, we'll do it.
Ian Bagg and I, we're cheap, hungry bastards.
That's right. I can wear any team because I've never played for a team.
You wear a lot of different clothing when you're on the ice.
And it confuses people. I thought you were nope.
It's a collection of logos.
Yeah. I have two teams, the West and the East.
Do you have all 33 teams?
No. But I do have floating in the house a Thrashers shirt.
Ooh, an old one.
Hey, so the
National Hockey League is a 33 team league right now.
Yeah, you want to expand on that?
Because Arizona is inactive, but they are still part of the league. And Salt Lake City. So it's weird. It's the biggest it's ever been before, which challenges Bagg to know which side teams are on the conference divide.
There should be a West and East and a middle right now, just because there's 33.
One team in
the Midwest Conference.
Yeah.
That would just send Bagg over the edge.
Oh my God.
Especially if we could put Columbus.
I would have the Rangers in that immediately.
Rangers in the Northwest.
I would just lose my mind. Oh, let me go. Is that 3 hours ahead or 3 hours back?
I do that all the time. How are you guys?
Good.
Yeah.
What's been going on since your beloved team has been asked to leave the playoff system? What have you been up to? Are you just working on who's coming up? What are you doing?
I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Either was I. I was going to go. Are you working on the draft? And then I was like, if I bring up is the AHL team still in it? Jeff will mock me, and then So what are you doing?
First couple of days, I'll be honest. It was weird. The first night I didn't feel anything. The second day and third day I was sad and just empty. And now I'm jealous and I'm missing out. Watching this, and I will 100% come clean with you guys. There's a little bit of watching one of the Western Conference series going, our team was better than that. Our teams would beat those two teams. Now, Dallas is really good, and Vegas lost to Dallas. You can't say anything about that. It was a close series, but they lost to Dallas. But that Vancouver Edmonton series, if they would have found a way to go through the old Smythe division, they would have been in a pretty good spot, I believe.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Vancouver would not done as well against Los Angeles, and they would not done as well against the Golden Knights, who had their numbers for the whole season. But they seem to have Edmonton right now.
Yeah, they have all season.
That's the way it is, though, right? I mean, Vegas ended up with Dallas, who looks fabulous right now. And Vancouver. Do you guys think the Vancouver series could be 3-0 either way? Like I like what Vancouver's doing, but Edmonton ran away on them in the first game, and then the second game was overtime, and then the third game Edmonton outshot them 42-18. So, but Vancouver could easily been up, right? If they win the overtime game 3-0, or you could make an argument for Edmonton, or
I think it's easier to make an argument for Edmonton being up 3-0, and Edmonton should be up 3-0 based on their superpowers, the Thunder Twins.
But after their superpowers, they fall off quite
not as much as years past. I don't like their blue line still, and I still don't like their goalie. But
wow, okay, I think you kind of were passively aggressive against both these teams. Now let's be happy for Vancouver, because I don't know if you remember. Yes. Okay, but if you go back maybe to the late summer, early fall, and we were all talking about the teams that were going to be maybe surprised, or teams you expected to do well, one of the three of us said Vancouver.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Yeah, and the other guy wouldn't. He was thinking it, but he wouldn't say it because then he'd think I'd go after him. So I'll take credit for that.
Who's that?
Said Vancouver.
Who's going after you?
No, Ian is deep down. Right?
Yeah, I turned into a 14-year-old boy, and Jeff stepped on the ice, and I was like, ugh.
But I'm happy for Vancouver. I know what you're saying. It could be 3-0, but I don't know. I mean, they've turned it around. Give Tocchet credit and give those guys
They have
credit.
A full team. They have a full team compared to two and a couple.
You add in there playing a third string goaltender, it should be 3-0 Edmonton.
But here's the thing, Millard.
Don't give me. Here's the thing.
I'm
going to go back. How about you guys? The first year when you guys had a fifth string goaltender. Don't tell us
not
about
in the playoffs.
That. Didn't you go? Who started in the playoffs?
The Flower guy.
I never heard of him.
Hey,
I thought of first round. I thought it was still going in the first round.
No, they went through a bunch of goaltenders in November, December.
Wasn't Ferguson? Didn't he dress for a playoff game though? Was it Ferguson from Kamloops?
No, he did play in a game against Edmonton for like 10 minutes, or he was up in November and December, but not in the playoffs.
No. Well, that's how fast it can change. But here's the thing with Edmonton, and I've said it for years, and I get it. You got it. I didn't say that. I love Edmonton, but I never understood why these guys. You got me mixed up with Zadorov. Hey, any city that's on Highway 16, I love. Okay, so have a look at that, Millard. Go look at your map on Highway 16.
Edmonton. Any city that puts their airport in a different city, I'm not impressed by.
Yeah, huh.
Not saying
Colorado. Then you don't like Colorado, you don't like Edmonton, and you don't like Calgary.
I love Colorado because you go in and then you drive by where the airport used to be, and you're like, well, that's much closer to town.
No, I like flying into Colorado because I have friends in Lethbridge, and I get to see them before I head down to Denver.
That's funny.
Yeah. That's basically where the Denver airport is. The northern part of Lethbridge. Even highways run north south, or even highways run north south,
east west.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I-5. Which way does I-15 and I-5 go?
The Trans-Canada Highway is Highway 1.
Talking Canadian.
Highway 1 runs east west, and then even highways run north south in Canada, right?
Okay. So what would you take?
I think there's so few highways they don't care. They're like, whatever. 16 and we're done.
And try and get through Saskatchewan with all those. Like, they just put a road wherever they want.
Yeah, well, yeah. You're just like you got a 4-wheel drive. You're creating a road.
Yeah.
So you don't like the fact that the Denver airport's on the outskirts of Omaha?
No, and the Calgary airport is closer to Edmonton than Edmonton's airport
I don't know
Close to
about that.
Edmonton.
That's a stretch right there. That's a little bit of a stretch. I don't think it's that bad. It's not that far out of town.
Well, Edmonton's got a good plan. You got to go through Wetaskiwin and buy a car before you can get on a plane.
Yeah,
Like
you're right.
it's all about selling something.
I once flew from the international airport in Edmonton to the downtown airport on a 737. I was
75-minute flight.
It was 75 seconds, and it was my twin brother and I were the only two people on it.
Well, how'd that work out? How'd you end up on that? Did you win a lot
I
or
don't
some
know,
kind of
we were flying. I don't know. My
prize?
travel agent aunt did it. Yeah.
I would have loved to seen TSA's head blow up when two guys show up looking the same.
He's older, more mature, even at 12.
Do you guys both have IDs?
We share one, like the womb. We have one.
You guys, well, this you can't go through the fast lane.
We're conjoined.
That's funny. What movie was it where the guy the conjoined was a goaltender? You ever see that movie?
No.
It was Matt Damon was a goaltender, and I can't remember who his conjoined twin would be there while he's playing.
Seriously?
Goal. Yeah. It was a Fairley Brothers movie.
Have you heard of that one, Sharples?
No. I was just wondering why your aunt, did you thank her for booking you on a 4-minute flight?
Yeah, because it saved them driving to Lethbridge.
Oh my God.
Because the Edmonton airport's so far south of town.
We're gonna need proof of that flight.
You know what's great? No matter what, we talk about travel on this show.
It was Expo 86. That's when
Expo 86 was amazing.
Yeah, we flew from Vancouver to Edmonton after Expo 86.
That's right. I was
watching with a girl from Duncan, 86? BC there.
I thought Expo 86 was cool.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
LB, were you there at all?
No. Gary and Robin said we're not going to Vancouver.
Why?
Yeah, it was awesome.
It's going to be nuts. People are going to be crazy.
The whole world's coming. It's a fair. Yeah, that's the idea.
That's what it is. You're just going to throw up on the rides. Why would we go?
I don't remember rides.
Said.
It's just a bunch of pavilions.
Yeah. Here's what's going on in the rest of the world.
I love that. World?
Exactly.
You come from Manitoba, there's a world out there?
Oh my goodness. I thought it stopped over there.
I have a theory on the supplemental discipline that was handed out to the Vancouver Canucks and why Edmonton should be sour about it. Can I explain that to you?
Yeah, sure. I want to hear this.
If two laymen agree with me. So Zadorov pushes McDavid from behind, and Soucy cross-checks McDavid in the face. Soucy gets the 1-game suspension, and Zadorov is allowed to play in Game 4, even with the fine.
Yeah.
Who would Vancouver rather have in the lineup? Zadorov, right? Yeah. Who would Edmonton rather have out of the lineup? Zadorov. I think Zadorov caused the Soucy cross-check, and subsequently he should be the one suspended.
I don't think either of them should be suspended, but going by your way, yes, because he was trying to cross-check him in the chest,
yeah,
which nobody's ever been suspended for.
No,
but because he fell, he hit him in the face. Okay. I agree with you there. But the other way you should look at it, any player should get the suspension on Vancouver, and we'd give them Ian Cole.
I'm not sure if anybody's had a worse series since Steve Smith.
I just keep sending people, why is Ian Bagg playing for Ian Cole?
It can't work out any worse. Sharples and I were going back and forth on this the other night. Like, what happened in a past life there? That's coming
poor
back
guy. He's getting worked. But here's the thing: it's one thing what he's done on a couple of the plays with the puck, but then there's just been some horrific luck where pucks are bouncing off the poor guy. I mean, he's had, and they're not bouncing off and going, why are they bouncing off him or going into the goalie? They're bouncing off him going into the net. Unfortunate.
And he's kind of in the right spot. Like he's not out of position. It's just,
they're like, shoot for Cole.
Luck. Yeah,
it's amazing. It's like he walked through a bunch of puppies and just kicked them on the way to the game. It's just like, here comes karma. Yeah. But they keep putting him out there though.
Do you think Edmonton is shooting for him? That's a good point that one of you two brought up.
I don't know.
They're shooting
I
for
just
Cole
think-
instead of the net.
I mean, hey, I mean,
David would be.
we used to have an old saying in the game: "Give it to him, he'll give it right back to you. Give it to someone on the opposition, give and go, he'll give it right back to you."
Really?
Oh yeah, guys, Brad Lauer, you say Sharps. Give and go with whoever the guy on the other team was. He'll give it right back to you. So we always used to laugh about that. But
I'm writing that down, by the way.
Before we take, I feel really bad for Ian Cole and some of the stuff. But let's just back up on the Soucy and Zadorov situation here. First of all, it gets all kinds of extra focus on it because it's McDavid. But
Exactly.
Okay, but here's the thing. Zadorov, who's been an absolute beast in the series, he comes in and he's going to get his retribution. My argument, and I think the argument would be, Soucy has to control his stick. And I'm not sure if controlling his stick means holding it up.
Well,
Right?
it
It
was
was so
controlled.
fast,
There
but it
was
was
no
so
way that was
fast.
intended to be malicious.
I'm not saying he was intending to be malicious, but his stick wasn't down by his side. It was up at his chest, and he's already 6'5" or 6'6". I'm not condoning, or I'm not saying. I hear you. I mean, they'd much rather see Zadorov get taken out of the series. But someone was going to pay. You knew that when that happened. And I've had people say, well, they both should have got a game. But you see way worse than what Zadorov did. And their argument is, oh, the game's over.
Yeah.
You know what? So they did. They appeased some of the people out there that would say you can't do that to the superstar player. So they kind of set a precedent. But at the same time, you see way worse cross checks than that every game in the playoffs.
But
I mean,
they should
Sam
protect
Bennett didn't even
McDavid,
get a
right?
penalty, right?
They should protect McDavid.
To a point,
you
by
should
offering
argue that everyone
$5,000,
should be
offering
protected.
$5,000, but the penalty's $5,000 for Zadorov. I'd pay $5,000 every day to do that.
True.
Right now,
Yeah.
so now you're just like, oh, I only get $5,000 for that. All right.
And you know what?
But
They
Soucy
probably
got a
Stand
game.
in front. Yeah, but Soucy was shrapnel involved.
Yeah, he just happened to be collateral damage, right? It's like
Yeah.
someone's going to pay. It's going to be you. Okay, so
But
Zadorov,
what if they'd find everybody involved in it? So McDavid starts it by the slash, right?
Yeah.
And then boom, 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 everybody gets $5,000, and then nobody gets suspended
I
because you
think
want
when
guys
two players
in the,
take a shot at McDavid, somebody's got to pay.
yeah, but that
Protecting
the
superstar player of the league.
But that means, he did it after the game, so he did it out of frustration. So he should have to pay for what he caused to himself.
yeah, but here's the thing too, Millard. Like,
I know you love him.
he finishes a lot of his checks now, which is fine. He's allowed to do that. But you know what? Guys are allowed to finish him too. Soucy went after him after the game. He chopped him. Not even a big chop, just kind of like, hey, beat it. And then Zadorov came in and lowered the boom, and then the rest is history, right? Like, he got a double, he got the double-edged sword on that one. He got the cross-check in the ribs, which I'm sure he's still feeling today, and a cross-check in the face, which could just motivate him to get 6 points tonight, but you still don't know if Edmonton's going to win.
Right.
So
You guys are living on a different planet if you think that Connor McDavid gets treated the same as every other player.
We don't
Or
think he's
should
getting.
get
I
treated.
never said he
We
did.
think
I
he
just
should
said,
be, but not.
No. And I'm okay to a certain degree with that. As long as those, he understands. And it's like Kopitar.
No, he
I think
understands
Kopitar
now.
probably gets treated a little bit differently, but Kopitar isn't running around trying to run through guys through the boards either. He plays a certain way. I'm not saying McDavid can't finish his checks, but sometimes I think he takes liberties on guys because
That
of
was
who
great
he
that
is.
McDavid jumped up too, didn't roll around on the ice.
No,
Yeah.
you know what? He's
He's
here's
got to
the
be
thing.
so frustrated. He's got to be like
Yeah.
so frustrated.
Well, come
Somebody
on,
help me
Ian.
out
He's
here.
out there every second shift. How frustrated can he
Yeah,
be?
but do you think he? Do you
He's
think?
playing
Oh, here we
Remember
go.
minutes.
It's
Here-
Ian, just sit back and enjoy the next half hour rant on Edmonton Oilers top end ice time.
Well,
The
I'm
Sharples.
gonna bring this up. So Jeff did talk about, so when Knobloch, my favorite coach of all times, Knobloch is also how I got knocked out of a game once. Some guy gave me a Knobloch. But when he first came in, remember when they went on their winning spree? Ice time was being doled out to everybody, and as soon as they started rolling back the ice time to the others, they started to have more problems.
No, it's when you're chasing games, you got to double down. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
When you're chasing
but-
games, you got to lean into it.
Hmm.
Who are you
I-
playing? You're coaching. You're down by 2. Who are you playing?
I'm just putting Connor McDavid on defense because
When he's not on forward.
when
You're
he's not
taking him off.
I'm double shifting him to defense because those guys are fucking pylons. Excuse my language.
Whoa! Oh, hey, there goes the
No,
neighborhood.
and I'm not even. Yeah, there goes the neighborhood. Get me.
Apologize
canceled.
to the Edmonton Oilers defense, please.
Get me on my Vespa. I'm going to drive around and
can't-
ruin this neighborhood.
Hey, did you forget you're doing a show in Edmonton soon?
Oh my god.
Hey, there's 6 guys who would like to see you after the show, Lord Bagg.
It's almost sold up. Yeah, but here's the thing. Here's what I'm going to say. Here's what
There's 6
here's my
tickets left.
thing. Here's my thing with it. I think Edmonton should have won. So the frustration with them, like I see the frustration. I'm like, I'm not even an Edmonton fan. I'm like, holy shit, guys, you guys must be losing your mind. But instead in Edmonton, they don't lose their mind. They just win a couple games and they start a parade, and then they're busy putting the parade cars back into the garage. So they don't have time to complain, right? But
I'm not coming to your show in Edmonton.
come to my
Not
show
a
in
chance.
Edmonton. I tell you what, there's going to be a bunch of newfies. We love the Oilers. You're dead, you son of a bitch. It's just regular. It's just regular Edmonton show.
And the six members of the Oilers blue line.
But yeah, those guys show up. That'd be awesome. Those I'd get around those pylons. I just move her. I tell you what I do. I just look over in the corner and they'd skate over there, and then I just walk out. So, anyways,
We're just going to get an excavator for you now, just to keep digging in on that.
Yeah.
We put the shovels away. We got you a 966 front end loader from Caterpillar, bringing her on in. Just keep on digging that hole. We got a backhoe on the other side.
I tell you what's happening right now. I just added another show in Calgary.
That's true. Next time you make the Oiler line, can you take me off the screen for that?
Oh God.
I love it because they lose their minds too. But I don't know. Vancouver apparently has the worst fans ever. They're the biggest crybabies according to Sportsnet.
Oh, really?
Well, hey, talking about Sportsnet. Okay, just changing gears. So we have
get us
the
out
All
of this hole.
Canadian. We have the All Canadian playoff series for the first time in how many years, Millard? It's a long time, isn't it? Is it 2010? Maybe
what
longer
are you
than
talking
that.
about? Just
The
all
first
Canadian
time
series?
2 Canadian series.
No.
It's
It
been a while.
happened like Toronto and Montreal and Winnipeg and Toronto during COVID.
Oh, in the bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe
we had Edmonton,
okay.
Calgary a couple of years ago.
Well, easy.
But it's
Yeah.
rare that Edmonton plays Vancouver in this.
Maybe in the
rematch.
second round. I might have
Yeah.
got that mixed up. Okay. Again, we're not here to give true. Well,
make
we're trying
fun
to
of
give
Ian
truthful
about this
statements.
stuff.
They just might not be true. But
Ian, this is
yeah.
where you jump in and say that was factually incorrect, and I'm going to hold you accountable.
Jeff, you got to take a time out because you're a bullshitter. This isn't a car lot, Jeff. Let's keep it on truth.
yeah, no, I went down your street there for a minute with some just totally bogus information.
It's been since '64 since any Canadian teams have played each other, playoffs or not playoffs.
Maybe somebody that has facts straight. Maybe it's the second round. I don't know, but anyways,
Welcome to the
we'll let
podcast
it go.
that doesn't understand Google.
We don't get Google. We don't.
No, we're not
subscribe.
doing it before we
We-
come on. I can tell you
We
that.
keep
Nope.
screwing up. We just keep putting in Ogle, and we just see girls.
The fact
in-
that we were supposed to
girls in
record at
Oilers
one
shirts.
time, and then you said, "I'm coming. I'm on my way." That sets up this podcast.
We're supposed to record at 10. I could not get into Zoom. It was not letting me into Zoom.
Sharples,
So I
I'm
said,
ready.
I'm coming.
Ian
Yeah,
Beck.
Sharples.
You know what?
Sharples also sent it at 7 a.m. We're ready to go.
My favorite was watching you two. I was kind of hoping you were going to chirp Mallard back when you said, "I'm coming." And he goes, "So's Christmas." I was like, "Oh, here we go." He's getting all sensitive because he wants to go get on his bike this afternoon and go ride around the Red Rocks.
My mom used to say that all the time. So's Christmas.
So's Christmas.
Oh,
You know? I thought you said
No.
your mom say that all the time. My mom used to say I used to like ride my
No.
bike. You gonna
No,
ride your bike?
I don't know why Sharples is making fun of my mom.
Oh man,
Crossing
That's
a
Love
line.
your mom. Hey,
Crossing a
all
line
moms.
there.
all moms.
All moms. They're the best.
Moms.
They had their big day was last week too, right? So
Yeah.
you guys wish your moms and
That's
your
when a
other
bunch
moms
of
happy
bunch
Mother's
of
Day.
hockey moms had a vodka with a little bit of orange juice. Oh no, they had champagne and orange juice on Sunday at the hockey games.
Mimosa?
Get out there and cross-check them, Johnny.
What were you going to say about Edmonton and Vancouver playing like in the first time two Canadian teams have played since
Since
I don't know.
Like,
That's
what was your actual thought to that?
since the
the
World
water.
Hockey
That
League.
water's gone. That's out. It's out in the ocean now. That water went under the bridge, and it's out in the Pacific somewhere.
Well, thank
I'll
goodness
grab
it's not going
that
over the
thought
bridge.
someday. Yeah, it'll come
That'll
back.
be if you want to hear that thought, that podcast is probably in August.
That'll be on the extra, the uncut
Extras.
version.
That's right.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
This would be like was it
Jeff will be
Smokey and
calling
the
in.
Bear? Was it Smokey and the Bear or the Bandit where they used to have all the outtakes at the end of the movie?
Yeah,
the
Smoking
bo-
Bandit.
Smokey the Bear
Bandit.
Smokey the Bear is a different guy. He's a forest guy.
Smokey and the Bear.
Smokey and the Bear, Smokey and the Bandit. BJ Bear, whatever. Who was the truck
BJ Bear
driver?
was the trucker with the monkey.
So just easy.
Yeah, best show ever.
There wasn't even a bear in it.
No, there's a monkey solving murders driving across the country delivering
Yeah.
sausages. Oh,
Exactly.
great. Oh, the 70s.
And
was
Smokey the
best.
Bear was living in the forest trying to stop fires, and Smokey and the Bandit was doing like some crazy cannonball run race
Yes.
in the Trans Am.
I want to see Smokey the Bear outtakes. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Hey, only you can prevent lightning strikes. I got it right.
At the Country Music Hall of Fame in Nashville, they have the Trans Am from Smokey and the Bandit in there.
What? We're really? Huh.
Yeah.
All right.
You
Well,
can
next
argue
time-
with me there.
No, I was like, I would have if I'd have known that, I would have checked it out last time I was there.
Yeah, it's really
Here's-
cool.
here's-
We're coming up
here's
on
a-
a year from when we were all there together.
Yes, you're right.
Is that when you went and seen that?
That no, I saw it at the All-Star game a few years ago when the All-Star game was in Nashville.
Well, here's a good
My
one.
wife
So
and I
I
did
wear
too.
that. I wear an Emergency Squad 51 shirt from the show Emergency, right? And some guy from the fire department seen it, and he sent me 2 shirts from their museum that are actually from the show, and they have all the trucks at the museum from Emergency.
No way.
The museum. Yeah, Yeah.
Remember that?
yeah. And Dixie would get all the IVs sent up.
Yeah, the hospital, there was 2 sets. There was there's 3 sets. The accident scene, the firehouse, and the hospital.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. And the one guy with the massive mustache would just say something stupid. We got a fire again, and then they'd run off to the fire.
Emergency. One
Yeah.
of the greatest
So
ever.
good. Yeah, so good. Anyways, it's also a show about entertainment, this podcast.
That's right. Travel, entertainment.
This is the most off the rails it's ever been since in my appearances on it.
We've never been on the rails on this show. We are like the train that goes from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. Never started.
I was gonna
That's
say,
right.
I-
Bright line. Bright line. That's
Do
what
you
they're
think
calling it. The bright
Is that
line.
going to happen though? We don't think that's going to happen.
No. We need the Chinese to get that done.
I passed on the 215. I was they had a big train car being hauled down the 215 in Vegas the other day, and I thought, well, I wonder if that's going to Brightline.
They had a train car
on a truck,
on
on
the
a flatbed.
on a
Yeah.
flatbed on the highway.
Yeah.
Well, somebody doesn't know how to use trains.
I know. I agree with that.
That's confusing as hell.
Big wide load sign. I'm used to trailers going down the Trans Canada like that, but it was a big train, couple of train cars.
Ugh.
You're right. They did not know what they were doing.
You think you'd put that on a
And
train?
why would they put it on the flatbed? Why not just tow it? Big sparks flying.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Just down.
Hey, just drive it. Just drive it.
Yeah.
Just put her on the road and drive her.
I'm sure the Blue Man Group would have paid for advertisement on that. And it's like all those sparks coming off. Blue Man
Yeah.
Group on the side of it.
You know, there's real paint, latex paint on those guys. I thought it was a mask.
No, it's paint. They
I don't know
only
that it's
last about
latex, but
5
it's-
years, and then they have to bury them.
Yeah, you're around those guys, you get blue smudges on you.
Yeah, HR is very tight. That place is easy. It's easy
Yeah.
to pick who's. Yeah,
Yeah,
They don't even need one.
everybody's guilty in that place. we're talked about Vancouver, Edmonton a lot. You watched the Dallas game last night. The Dallas, Colorado. I'm gonna go back to Colorado, Winnipeg, and I was like, oh my God, Nanushkin is on fire and out of control and gonna destroy Winnipeg. And he did. And it turns out he was doing a little bit of toots, scoots, magoots, and that's why it was so good.
Boy, finding out you lose a teammate for 6 months just before the game or a couple hours before the game, that must be terribly unsettling.
I'm going to bring up, they know what's going. They know there's something off with him. There's no way if he's got that big of a problem, they're noticing something, right?
I don't know.
Well, maybe that was maybe it started coming to a head before game 3 in Denver because they weren't great in game 3 either. But, I think Bednar said it best last night. Like, they're not using an excuse. You could totally see his body language. Like, I don't want to say they're defeated, but they're definitely drained from this. I still think Colorado is obviously an upper echelon team.
Good.
They
were unbelievable when I watched them.
No one plays with the pace that they do. But I have to say that we talk about it once in a while, but the human factor weighs into this. This is a person that had just and turned not only your world but their world upside down last year in Seattle. They came back this year. They seem like Brooks and Dunn would say, a brand new man, and he is if he's not the MVP of the playoffs, he's one of them to this point. And then all of a sudden the rug gets pulled out from underneath you and you show up. And of course, word starts leaking out. So some guys know, they're all on a text thread together. Maybe they all know, maybe they didn't. An hour before the game, they all get there at 4:30. And Coach Bednar's got to tell them, hey, this is what's going on. We don't know anymore, 6 months. And so it's kind of almost like the finality of the hockey season. The season, you're playing the season one day, the season's over the next. It's over for Val Nichushkin until at least November. But the gravity or the weight of that news hitting those players, I would think there would be a real sinking feeling just for the human. Like, hey, how did we not see it? Or how could we have helped more? Or just feeling really bad? Or did we see it and we weren't able to, to help or whatever? I'm just saying. So it showed the shots were 22-4 at one point last night.
It's incredible.
So, thank God Georgiev was able to just kind of hold the fort. But, now they'll get on the road. This isn't going to go away. It's going to linger, but it's going to be real gut check time for them tomorrow night. And in Dallas, and I don't know if there's a team, and let's not take away from how well Dallas is playing. I don't know if there's a team in the playoffs right now playing as well as Dallas. Lost their first 2, last 10. They're 8-2. They're surgical the way they're doing it. They're not giving up anything. And when they do, Ottinger's there. Vegas couldn't get much offense going. Colorado's had trouble getting offense going. These are 2 teams that if you said at the start of the year, Vegas or Colorado would win the cup, people go, yeah, I think so. So give Dallas their due at the same time. Dallas is a team. I'm like, if they keep going like this, playing 5D, it's an amazing run.
Yeah, that part's incredible too. Observation from a D-man. Sounds like a good T-shirt.
Observation
round
from the
one,
D-man.
round 2, Dallas lost the first game of both series, which they did every series last year on their way to a Western Conference final. They don't get unfazed. But here's the part where I got confidence bled into me about Dallas against Colorado. 3 years ago, Pete DeBoer was able to control Colorado in a series head-to-head and get through them. They won 4 straight games. They dropped the first 2 games in Denver and then won 4 straight games between Vegas and Colorado. Pete DeBoer found something or discovered something in that series that shut the Avalanche down, and you knew he was going to resurrect that plan in this series. And I thought, given that Vegas was, or that Dallas was going to be able to overcome.
Dallas going through those first 2 teams too is just huge. just so whoever they, I'm not going to say it because whoever they get next is going to probably be kind of a little bit of a rest before they get Florida.
Who do you
You
think they
just
get
said
next?
it. You said you weren't going to say it. You just said it.
Yeah,
I know,
that's true.
But I'm saying about the rest. Like I think I don't want to say that Edmonton or Vancouver.
You
which
are
I think
saying
it's
it
gonna.
though,
But I know, but I don't want to say it. Like I don't want to say because you don't want to say it. But
because you don't want to
it's
hurt
gonna
the
be.
feelings of your gate.
Well, yeah, I don't want.
Well,
I don't want Edmonton. I don't
you're
want
going to
Edmonton to be
Vancouver
too
too.
mad at
Like,
me.
come on.
You've already sewered Edmonton.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Edmonton sewered itself. They got to put their pipes underground.
I might have sent a coach a text this week just saying, keep it going. Good on you. Good luck.
Yeah.
good for you.
Well, yeah, we know who
I
that
went the
is.
other way. I didn't send them. I didn't send them one. I've sent them before, and they haven't made it that far. So I was like, maybe it's me.
He's leaving tickets.
I would love
like Ricky
Vancouver
Bobby.
to have a deep run too.
Yep.
It'd just be a great story.
You know what? You want to talk dark horse, whatever. Vancouver is all in, and whether it's pretty, it's not pretty. It really hasn't been pretty at any point in the Nashville series or the Edmonton
it's not
series,
pretty.
and
It's
they
ugly
keep
as hell.
finding a
Love it.
way. And those guys are so determined, and they're so bought in, and that's just a credit to Talkett. But it's also a credit to the organization. I personally think, and they might have had more talented teams in Vancouver. I personally think it's the best Vancouver Canuck team I've ever seen. And it's mostly because they just play the way they play. Love to see them create a little bit more offense. And I don't know if they can defend their way to the winner of Colorado and Dallas. I mean, they can, but they have to find a way to get, like, you just can't keep on sagging as the game goes on and hoping that your goaltender is able to kind of stop the grade A's that Edmonton is going to throw at you. But at the same time, playing your superstars 30 minutes a night, I know, Millard, you might as well put your cotton in. I just don't know if that's sustainable. Okay. I think,
Well, if you get a lead, it drops down to 21.
It's what?
If you get a lead, if you score first in the game, it drops down to 21 minutes.
Whoever
Okay,
scored
let me
first
ask you
hasn't
a
won in this
question.
series so far.
Because you always like to brag about you only have to follow one team now. How much would Butchie, Coach Cassidy, if Vegas is down in a game, how much does Jack Eichel, what's the most minutes you've seen him play all year?
His minutes are more if you're chasing the game.
I know, but they're not 29 and a half, almost 30 minutes. They're 24, 25. That's a ton for a forward. And McDavid and Draisaitl are getting just, especially McDavid, they're bumping into him all the time. I just think that Edmonton's
apples to oranges. One, Vegas is way deeper in the back end. So you have more support for Jack Eichel to not have to play him to the extreme. You play him more, but not to the extreme. And if you have those two players and you're behind in the game, every single person on the planet that knows the game is going to play those guys more. And Butchie has alluded to that. He said, I've never been in that position, but you're going to lean on those guys.
I'm pretty sure people say this. I've never been in that position, and thank God, because it looks like hell.
Yes, it's very hard.
Right?
Yeah, you age your dog years coaching that team, but just going back, and I know it's the playoffs, but what made Edmonton, when Knoblauch came in, you got their initial push, he was able to get a lot out of everybody, and their minutes came down. They didn't suffer. They were better defensively than they are now. I still, you'd like to mix in a few more saves, but I still have a hard time always pinning it on the Edmonton goaltender. I just think that when they give up chances, they're egregious, and their puck management is not great. But if you go back, there was not a better team for the second half of the season, maybe other than Nashville, than Edmonton. So I'm just like, if it worked then, I know it's the playoffs, but you got to try and find a way to make it work again. And
they were a wagon. They weren't down 2 chasing games in when your life is on the line. That's the difference in the playoffs. is you lose that game, you're
I
in a
agree. And you
bad
see the
spot
same
compared to a
thing.
Tuesday
So you're
in
saying
February.
are you saying they're desperation? They need more
Yeah.
desperation? Is yeah.
No, I
and,
mean the
in the
coach
regular
is
season.
naturally more desperate
No,
because
no,
of
the players though. Because obviously the players are doing something different than it's not just the coach, it's the players that are doing something different.
you need more
than Trent
saves
right now.
I don't think the goals have been terrible, but you need more saves. You need a little bit more of everybody.
But they don't have an Ian Cole on their team. They don't have a bad luck charm right in front of the net, letting everything go on, and they're still losing. So there's something they're not doing that I don't know. Also, Corey Perry looks weird, like scared. Like every time he looks over the bench, he's like,
I love Corey Perry.
he's pretty fun.
One of my favorite players ever.
Yeah. Hey, but
before we move on from Vancouver, I want to bring up Hughes. Have you ever seen a defenseman move like that on the or who out of all the best defensemen does he compare to moving on the point like that? Like there's the way he moves,
where
the
he
puck
slides.
And when he circles back and he's breaking ankles all over the place. Those guys are just sliding by him. You know what I mean?
He's a combo. But what I see in him more than anybody is Paul. Oddly, he's the guy on the other bench.
Yep.
But I see Paul in him more than anybody. But he's got elements of Danny Savard doing 360s, sliding the blue line as much as anybody. Like there's a bunch of different skill sets to his game.
And don't forget, Serge Savard. Serge Savard invented the spinorama.
Right, the spinorama. Yes.
But you know what? Here's the difference. If you want to compare him to someone, you could say Makar moves better, or more often Makar gives you the shake and bake and will move laterally and open up, whereas Quinn Hughes will drop a shoulder. His edge work is immaculate, and
Crazy.
so so I would agree with Millard on that. Paul Coffey his skating was I mean, one of the best ever. So that's a good comparison. And the last thing I'll say about
Paul wasn't as dynamic, right? Paul wasn't.
No, but he would be more north-south. Like he would beat you with his speed, whereas Quinn will beat you. He uses his lateral ability and his edge work to create the separation. He is such a smart hockey player too. Now, Paul was a bigger guy. Paul's 6'1", much bigger guy. Quinn Hughes is not a big guy. So it makes it even more impressive what he does. But
it's got a little basketball feel to it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, he would definitely he has some razzle dazzle. There's no question about it. And I mean, I think him and Makar as far as defensemen, and I like to throw Theodore in there too once in a while. But if you look at two defensemen that bring like the upper echelon of moving across the line, I would say they do it a little differently. But I would put Makar laterally as he's breaking ankles, but Quinn Hughes does it with his edge work a little bit more. And I guess you could say, well, they're both on their edges, but it's amazing.
Hughes a little bit more, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, who defends better, Makar or Hughes?
That's a great question. I think Hughes is an underrated defenseman, or a defender, actually, to be quite honest with you. But I think Makar just was able to end play so quickly because his skating is, and so is Quinn's, but he's so elite. And if you haven't seen Cale Makar play live, he plays heavy. He's what, 5'11". He's not a beast.
He doesn't
like
look small,
but he finishes really, really hard. Whereas Quinn won't, Quinn will kind of uses his stick and his mind a lot more. I think, I think in front of the net, Makar is probably going to be a little bit harder on you. And if you have an angle on him, he'll cut you quicker. But I think Quinn's able to read plays probably as good as anybody. Just, I don't know.
Well, you're
kind of a non-answer, right?
No. I'm legitimately more interested in that part of them, and I don't know as much about them in the defending aspect of it as a comparison. I can compare them offensively all day long with the eye test, but defending is more of a nuanced art.
I think
those two.
Like I'll give you an example. The way Makar can kill plays is the puck pops out to the neutral zone, and he uses that top end speed of his to cut that forward and get the puck. Whereas Quinn Hughes maybe doesn't have that top end speed, but he uses his mind a little bit more. I think Quinn, because he's probably needs the angles and the positioning of his body, because he realizes that some of these guys, like, Draisaitl's what, 6'3", you're not gonna run him through the glass unless you're Zadorov or one of these bigger guys. So I think he uses his mind a little bit more, whereas Makar probably uses his athleticism. And I think Makar is a brilliant player and a really smart player too, but that would be my comparison.
What do you think he's like as a captain? You think he's quiet? Do you think he says anything?
I think he talks, but he's not. He's more Mark Stone talk, like just to himself, and leave that example. He's not as vibrant as his brother, Jack. Like Jack is super cool and fun and just out there. Quinn is more reserved.
More reserved and a little bit deputy dog on him. Oh, well, here we go.
Wouldn't have said that. He's not the assistant. He's the chief.
He's the chief, but the way he comes out, he's like, all right.
Not the deputy.
We'll drop the puck with these people. Okay.
You guys are Vancouver, BC guys.
Alumni.
I'm curious. Something was said, I think it was Sharples.
I played at Trout Lake. What? Go ahead.
This is the best Vancouver team ever? No, the 2011 team was better than this team.
I'm talking, if you talk talent, and they got right to game 7, and I'm not going to argue that.
And should have won a couple of cups during that stretch.
Yeah, they should have won them. But I personally think this team, because of where it's come from, we knew that other team was fantastic. This team, to me, these guys, and I was telling all my friends up there all season, and my mom, the biggest Canucks fan, but she's still mad that they gave up on Hutton, but she's happy he's here now. I tell people all the time, enjoy during the season, enjoy it, because I love their team. I enjoyed their season. I love the way they play. And I do. I just think
this is Cinderella. This isn't what 2011 was. 2011 was supposed to win.
Yeah, but you can call it Cinderella. You can call it whatever you want to call it.
You're sticking to this. This team's better than the 2011 team.
I'm not going to say they're going to beat the 2011 team, but the best team they've had.
Well, the 2011 team's old now.
Well, exactly. I mean, but they still had some great players. Yeah, I do.
They can still play.
2011 was fantastic, but these guys do it a lot of different ways than the 2011 team did. That's just all I'm saying. And I just think this team is a special team. And if they can keep it going, whatever way people, the funny thing is every time you listen to on a sports radio show or they are constantly being doubted. And I'm like, I don't know what else you have to see. I mean, if you watch them during the season, they played the same way, except they were on the front foot a little bit more than they have been in the last game against Edmonton. But, I mean, they're capable of special things and they've shown it. So
this team's way more likable than the 2011 team. Like, other people in Canada didn't like the Vancouver Canucks in 2011.
I'm not taking
nobody
away
liked
from
the
that
2011 team. They were villains.
I think Canadians still hate Vancouver. I think that is because of the weather. I think and everything.
And Expo.
They still hate the team. Yeah, Expo '86, a disaster. I don't know. They because all they talk about is how bad Canucks fans are. So I don't care who's on the team. They still judge the team by the fans.
Yeah. Hey, do you remember the riots in 2011?
Yeah, started them.
Okay, so you started them? Nice. No. There was that one picture of the couple making out in the middle of the street and the riot police going down the road. That I saw a story on this. That couple, those two people are married, raising kids in Australia.
Yeah, they're
Boston
Australians.
fans. They were Boston fans.
She's Canadian, he's Australian, and they moved to Australia. They're still together. That's the most fascinating thing I've ever.
Unlike the 2011 team.
Yes.
The best part about that was they broke into the Pacific Center Mall and stole a bunch of purses and stuff, and then put them on sale on Craigslist the next day. I couldn't believe they got caught. Brand new purse available. Burn mark.
I could have done an investigation of that.
Yeah,
the three of us. Who would be the chief detective in this group? and who would be the guy running to get coffee? I think I'm the coffee guy.
You're the coffee guy.
Yeah.
If it was Beverly Hills Cop, I'm the guy that's always confused, that's excited that food's showing up, and then a banana gets stuck in our car.
I think Mallard, you know what? I think you pretty much aced your position, but I think we would have Lord Bagg as the lead detective asking all the questions. I'd be the driver. I drive because
you like to drive?
actually, you know, Ian's a pretty aggressive driver. Yeah, but I'd drive that way.
I'm an aggressive driver.
Does that mean he's a good driver or he's a bad driver?
I'm like, man, this car really goes. But in LA, like I think I drive like, you know, I keep up with traffic when I'm in LA, but Ian, he likes to set the pace. So I think a pen and a notepad for him, so he can just get ready to ask the questions, because when he's on the stage, there's no one better. But we got to get him to the stage. Yeah, we got to get him to the stage. And then we could have you come in and maybe be, you know, little good cop, bad cop, because you can kind of needle a little bit. You can be a little bit of an agitator.
So I'm the bad cop.
I think you'd be in there just throwing stuff out there. Yeah,
I love that stuff.
You
couldn't live in LA though, because you forget your wallet everywhere and you'd just be stuck in traffic constantly. I've never been around somebody who forgets their wallet more places.
Old alligator arms over there.
No, it's out because he's leaving it places.
It's out because I'm always buying. That's why.
Because you're always bragging.
Kind-hearted.
Look at that.
I was beside him at a red light one time, and the car wasn't moving. His truck wasn't moving. And I look over. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And because I was waiting for my turning light, he's like, do you have my wallet? I'm like, why would I have your wallet?
Because I seen him take it before.
And so he's looking all over his truck for his wallet, and then it's happened 2 other times.
Yeah. That's terrorist though. We don't need ID up there. Everybody knows who we are.
All right.
Why would I carry ID?
Well, it's such a small town. Everybody's like, "Oh, there's Jeff. There's Ian. There's
the PEI story. PEI story where a guy gets pulled over pulling into his yard, and he gets pulled over by the cops in his front yard because he didn't use the turn signal. And the gentleman says to the police officer, "Why would I use my turn signal? Everybody knows where I live."
That's funny. You know, I live here.
Yeah.
Hey, are we gonna talk
about the East?
Quick, like just give them a quick touch on the East, or are we good? We got some more travel.
I think Carolina's coming back.
Specials next time.
I think Carolina's coming back.
Really?
I called it at 3-1, and I'm sticking to it.
If Carolina comes back, they'll be.
This is making the clips. You guys are putting this out as a promo for the podcast.
Okay. Let's just talk about why you feel so strongly. That's a very strong opinion. Why?
I picked them at the start of the series. I actually thought their special teams were better than New York. It hasn't worked out that way at all, but I thought they were better than New York at the start of the series, and they were such close games for the first 3. Very little to determine. The power play was the difference for the New York Rangers, that if it swung just a touch, Carolina could come back. And how often can you lean on the goalie? He can get it done, but I just think Carolina is deep enough to get through it. And that's with Vincent Trocheck being awesome for the Rangers, like absolutely brilliant. But I still believe, and with Roddy Brindamore back there leading them on, Campbell River, right? Leading them on, getting them going.
Here's my problem. They hadn't had any adversity, right? So now they got some adversity. I think
the Rangers or the Carolina?
The Rangers, right?
Yeah.
Basically, Carolina's had nothing but adversity the whole playoffs, right? So, I think if the Rangers don't win the next one, Carolina wins, because I think they start turning on each other because they haven't had any
games. Imagine Game 7 at MSG with the Rangers trying to avoid a collapse from blowing a 3-0 lead. It will be epic.
Homeless people will move into the arena and start setting up tents.
Why don't people do that anyway?
I don't know.
You wouldn't need a tent though. Although it is
I like the way,
chilly.
I don't care what protests are going on, but I like that people are mad at college kids for protesting right now. Isn't that what college is for? Like just protesting and experimental sex? Isn't that all college happens?
Experimental sex?
Experimental sex in a tent while somebody's yelling
I've
down,
heard
down.
I've heard of exploring yourself, but I've never heard it phrased experimental sex.
That's how I put it, boy.
I missed that stage of my life. Experimental sex.
Anyways, let's
have an
get back.
let's
You
have an
missed that
experiment.
stage. You missed that stage. I love it.
Do you want to
The guy,
experiment?
the guy that's got a white coat and a pair of safety glasses. I missed that. Ooh,
I
we're
like the
gonna
way
do something
Sharples
different
just
tonight.
steps back on these conversations.
He does. He all of a sudden
I was like, I don't know. I'll let someone else try and figure out how to get out of that one. Hey, okay, where do we go from there? And how about that 5-on-5 play?
Experimental sex. Things I've
There
written
he
down
goes.
today.
I don't know if you know, Jeff just brought it up. That's nice. How about that 5-on-5 play? That's experimental sex if I've ever heard it.
Give it to him. He'll give it right back. Give and go with the opposition and experimental sex.
Ah, yes.
That's what I wrote down today.
You know what, though? I'll just jump in. I think we'll try and figure if we can torpedo this. I like the
Randy's
Rangers.
going to send you. That was a good one. That's what Randy's
Yeah.
going to say.
Oh,
Yes.
by the way, Randy,
Yeah.
I was at the pro shop yesterday, and you have a new stick.
I have a new stick.
Yeah, I don't know. He's like, this is for Lord Bagg. I said, okay, you
I
can have it. So
love
we'll
it.
talk about that a little bit later.
Oh,
yeah,
you were over
Randy-
at his house?
at the pro shop. Yep. And
Yeah.
he
Must
every time
have
I
been-
come out of the pro shop, I feel like I could outfit a hockey team. But he gave me a stick yesterday from the
Love
pro
it.
shop for Lord Bagg. So
Love it.
when
Is it-
next time, Mallard,
Is-
when
yeah.
you're on the ice and Lord Bagg's out with us in August or whenever he comes back into town, and he's skating around at the far end and we're at the other end,
Yeah.
waiting for him, he'll have a new stick.
By the way, that's how I played too. Offside.
No, it's true. We're all at one end doing drills, and you're at the other end by yourself, ripping pucks at the net, thinking, I'm really good at this. All by
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah,
Well,
that's how
everybody
that's how
else
I
is
play
doing
well.
stuff at the other end.
Yeah, you guys had bad ice. I had clean ice down the other end.
Well, you're all mad because you're on your brand new skates and you don't like them.
I was wibbly wobbly. I was
And your
wibbly
helmet
wobbly.
with no chin strap.
Oh my god! Hey, don't ever go on the ice. Public service.
Don't
announcement,
just
ever go on
start.
the
Just
ice without your
stop
chin
right there.
strap done
Just
up.
Jeff. No,
Not
no,
you.
Jeff. Just
Not
stop.
you.
Just stop it there. Just stop there. Don't ever go on the ice. Just stop it right there.
There's no chin
That's
strap. Sharples tells Bagg, do up your chin strap. I don't have one on this helmet. It's just got the ear things flipping
Oh my
down,
god!
but there's no actual strap on it.
You know what?
Faith.
Those kids, they don't mean to take you out, but they'll wipe you out. And
Oh,
you
yeah.
better have that bucket on because
Yeah.
They're like golden retrievers.
chasing after the ball, they see that
It's-
puck, they don't even see you, and
Yeah.
right through you. But
I love
Anyways.
those kids. I love going out with Jeff because he gives those speeches, and I just roll in and just say, "What did he say?" And they giggle.
I know. It's fun. It's fun being the good guy to Jeff's
Yeah,
bad
that's
cop
funny,
on
yeah.
the ice.
Oh, I love.
Oh, but
I-
you know what? I use Mallard stuff all the time out there on them. I'm like, what would because they're like, where's
What would
Mallard?
Mallard
I'm just
do?
like, you know what? He's too cool to come out today. Came up with some excuse not to
WWMD.
be here. But
been
Mallard's
busy.
favorite line on a couple of them is slow down. So the other day I said, I got sick of telling them, this or that. So I was like, what would Mallard say? Slow down. I'm like, thank you. And I just carry
Well,
on.
because they get
But-
going so fast, they can't keep up to their bodies. So
Yeah.
60% at control is better than 90% with the puck in the corner.
Yeah, but what kid at that age believes that?
That's why
or
they
can
need
even hears that.
Sharples and Mallard Hockey
Yeah.
School.
Yeah.
What's the name of our hockey
You keep
school?
yelling. You keep yelling at them 110%, and then you say take it down to 60, and they're so confused.
We could
So-
call it the elderly, the elderly duck.
I say B dog, slower. Slower.
Oh yeah.
B-dog.
So it's funny. I don't get to call anyone a nickname, but Mallard, he's out there.
Why
Everyone's
don't
got a nickname, right? So
Why
Well,
don't
I,
you
just,
just tell
I
him?
didn't want to use his real name because
Why don't-
I don't
you
know
know
whether
what?
we had permission to use his real name.
Right.
you here tell everybody about the other day. You always like to puff up, and then tell them what happened at City National. How you tried to sneak out the back, and someone someone
Yeah.
busted you and you just
I
about
was trying to
crapped
sneak
your
out because there
pants
was a big hockey
at City National.
and it was packed. So I was trying to slide out under the stairs. I almost bonked my head sliding out under the stairs, and then I ran into a couple of people, set of parents that Sharples works with. Well, he works with their son. He doesn't work with the parents. He's not into the counseling stuff. And
Well,
they
can you
recognized me and grabbed me. I'm like, I thought I was through, and they scared me because I like them, but they scared the crap out of me.
You didn't.
Well, tell them what you said to them.
Because they weren't.
Said,
They
"I
weren't in
work
the
here."
right place.
I
No,
work here. Yeah,
go,
they weren't in the right place at all.
Going? He just totally panicked. Where are you
Yeah.
going? And he goes,
You
I
panicked
work
and said,
here.
"I work here." That's awesome.
Yeah,
I work
I
here.
thought he
Here's
was
my
getting
badge.
busted for
Oh my
stealing
God.
something.
No face is more recognizable at City National than that face right there with that big 10-gallon wheat hat on. And he
10 gallon of wheat.
he just panicked. So hey,
I did panic.
okay, we got to wrap here soon, but
We got to talk
To
about
finish on
Boston.
New York,
Let's talk
hang
on
on.
Boston and Florida.
we
We're gonna
will. But
talk
to
about-
finish on New York, my big concern when I earlier on is if New York could defend well enough. 5v5 play was my concern with them. So keep an eye on that going forward. If that's good,
You-
that should be enough.
But
to
you
get
know
them
what?
by
You know what the
Carolina.
problem with the Rangers is? That owner has bad juju about him,
Yeah.
and they'll never win because of that. Because of that owner.
Mm-hmm.
That's
He's an interesting cat.
I think something about that will hold them back from winning.
Okay.
Just putting it out there. I know you guys don't believe it. Let's go to Florida and Boston. Oh my goodness, what a series we have.
Marchand's out again.
He is tonight, eh?
Yeah.
What's his injury? Have they said what his injury is?
Upper body,
Broken
which-
beak.
Just overall soreness.
That's funny.
No,
Like he's
he's
like he's
got
angry?
something. He actually practiced with them yesterday. Didn't take part in special teams, but I think he's close. If they can get through this, I think he's back.
Hey, Mallard, let me ask
Yeah.
you a question because you sent me an answer on this the other night to help people understand. So Bennett pushes off Coyle, and Coyle, who's 6'4".
Oh, this is the disputed goal.
Yeah, the disputed goal the other night. And Coyle's an honest player, right? But he ends up getting pushed or a little cross check or a big cross check, whatever you look at it. He falls on Swayman and they score. Boston appeals it or says, hey, there's
Challenge,
goalie
yeah.
interference there. How was that not called? And how does that rule not get enforced there if in fact the goalie interference was caused by the other team?
Okay, so when you challenge a play like that on goalie interference, you can't rule on the penalty in the sense of Bennett pushing Coyle is interference. When the puck's not there yet and you knock him down, that's interference. But you can't challenge that. So that's null and void. Coyle falls on Swayman as the puck pops out to Bennett and he puts it in. So it didn't prevent Swayman from playing his position because he wasn't going to get over there anyway. And the contact was simultaneous. I think it was the right call to allow the goal. I would have challenged all day long and again today, knowing what the call is or was, because it looks like it's goalie interference. But I think they got it right. I think the Situation Room, I agree with their call on it.
Mm-hmm.
But what started the whole thing was basically interference by Bennett on Coyle on the shove. You shoved to create space. He just fell over, and it was a brilliant play by Bennett.
Do you think, I want to bring this up, do you think we're getting too much, like calling too much, like trying to like over like micromanage the game?
No, I thought it played out perfectly.
But
It didn't get too ticky-tacky with it.
But should they even go that far? Like, should we go like, okay, pull back, guys? Like,
No, I think
you think you should be able to chase it?
Yeah, we opened that Pandora's box.
Okay, all right.
So
The only
I'm fine
thing
with it.
I
am
think
anyway.
I'd like to see the stick, on the hand stuff, they've eliminated calling that, which is great. Only
But
thing
you know
I'd
what
like
happens
to see,
though? If you take that away, then Gaudreau breaks his hand again or something like that.
well, okay, but here's the thing. The only thing I'd like to see a little bit more crack down on is the cross checking. Okay, because they
This year
are
was supposed to be
absolutely
that too.
they are absolutely yard sailing guys with cross checks. That, I mean, you tap a guy in the hands and October, November, December, early in the new year, or you even go near them and it's a penalty. So they've gotten rid of those calls, which is good. Let them play. But the cross check to me is a way they have to kind of mitigate the use of that to a certain degree, because guys are absolutely getting blown up and it's affecting the play in certain circumstances. Other than that, I think the officiating's been, I don't have a big problem with
I'm
it.
with
I
you.
mean, I think they've been good. I don't think the series is that some of the series have been as good as we'd like to see, and this is
No.
one of them, Florida and Boston. But if I'm Toronto right now watching this, I'm kind of kicking myself because Toronto has the offense to stick with Florida, but the two best teams are the team that are playing closest to who they are right now in the playoffs. I would say I'll give a nod to Carolina last night, but I would definitely say Florida
Dallas.
and Dallas are playing really close to who they are. And I give Paul Maurice and those guys in Florida credit too, because they came back after a really tough final last year, and they are, I mean, they're so connected on the ice. It's fun to watch them.
You guys are buddies with Pete, and
Oh yeah, come on.
here's my outlook at the start of the playoffs. Once Vegas went out, I thought, wouldn't it be great if Pete and Paul met together in the Stanley Cup final?
Mhm.
Best friends since they were 16 years old.
Oh, I forgot that.
Best friends since they were 16. The only reason Pete DeBoer is a coach is because Paul got into it, because they were former junior hockey teammates. Neither one of them has ever won the Stanley Cup. Both have been to finals, multiple finals. Neither one's ever won. Can you imagine the best of friends meeting, which could be their last chance to
Lou's
win the
excited
Stanley
about it.
Cup? And it would be an amazing storyline. If
Except
Florida,
for one has to lose and then they're not friends.
I think that they can handle it.
Hey, do you know these two guys bring Randy, and Randy's father-in-law, Sonny, goes way back with Randy of Randy's Pro Shop.
Yeah.
Goes way back with Pete DeBoer, Coach Pete and Paul, as they came up through junior.
Really? In Windsor.
So Sonny, yep. And so Sonny, and yeah, he could talk to you for hours about these guys. So it is a great story.
I think they're really good coaches too. I think the two
Well, I mean, I think
upper
Pete's
end.
showing how great he is this year, and I think Maurice is doing the same. I mean,
Great dudes.
yeah, and guys you pull for. And if you could do one thing, listen to Paul Maurice's press conferences. He is fantastic.
That last year's Stanley Cup final was the best coaching matchup for press conferences. That should have been a game within a game between Bruce Cassidy and Paul Maurice. Totally entertaining.
A game between a game of a game of a game.
You
My
totally
God.
screwed that up.
Of a game in between a game. The games. You gotta go deep with like it's a movie. It's a game of a game and
You should do movie trailers.
I should do
voicing
movies.
over. Yeah.
That just changed it completely.
When was the last
Look at
movie
Jeff.
you were in?
Jeff's so checked out of this. He's so checked out of this damn podcast lately. Just like listen to me, guys. I've got serious talk.
When were you last in a movie? What was your last movie?
My last movie, I've done a couple independents, but my last movie that I really did was a MVP 2 about a chimpanzee that plays hockey.
You could have been. Did you watch reruns of BJ and the Bear?
That's how I got into it. I was just like,
Yeah.
And then I did another one. I forgot I did another one after that about a chimpanzee that snowboarded. MXB.
Oh,
Yeah.
Did you
Al
tell me you
Pacino.
could drive a truck? I can drive a big rig too. If you
I
want
can
to
have a big rig if you guys
rekindle
want to
that.
solve some murders.
Al Pacino's doing a movie in Vegas right now.
What's it called? He loves them.
I don't know if a friend of mine's brother, I was talking to him yesterday, and
Hoo-ah!
he's doing it with who's the guy, the big Chicago Blackhawk fan, comedy
yeah.
actor.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
They're doing it together.
Vince Vaughn.
Yeah. Thank you. They're doing it together. They're shooting. They were at the Win, and then they're shooting on the Strip this week.
It's supposed to be
Like, how do you
comedy or
shoot 'em?
serious?
That's a good question. It must be serious, right? I was gonna say comedy because it's Vaughn, but Al doesn't.
Vaughn does both of them. He does do both. He does both really, really well. Vaughn.
Yeah, Al doesn't do. I call him Al. Patch doesn't do a lot of comedies.
Ooh, Patch. What's
name dropping? Do some more A-list name dropping, would you? Patches. Hey, Patches. He's old Patches.
Take out The Godfather. Is Godfather 2? No. Any Given Sunday.
That's good too. Yes.
So good.
Yeah, I just watched that recently.
One of the best sports movies of all
Are
time.
we now?
He wasn't in a good place
movie
in that
critics.
movie.
We're just talking about what we watch on the plane.
We can. Well, what's he going to watch on his 4-minute flight from Edmonton Municipal to Edmonton International?
TikToks. He's going to watch TikToks.
TikToks, yeah. I'll get through a few of them.
Okay.
I seen a TikTok the other day, Jeff, that I really liked that I tried to send to you, but you don't have TikTok, so you can watch it. And it was
I'm not having the Chinese infiltrate my phone any more than they already are.
There it goes. So it was one plane. One plane was 1,000 feet above the other plane. And the guy took a picture and then he airdropped it to the other plane.
No way.
Wow.
Yeah. It was pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool. It's pretty, I get it all the time. People are like, oh my goodness, did you see that plane? Like, we just had a 4-hour flight. There's so many airplanes in the sky over the North America. And like, if you want to go onto this thing called Flight Aware, and you can kind of just click on it, and it'll show you all the airplanes going over to Europe, and then all the airplanes going to Hawaii, it's really, really cool. Of course, and I would say anytime you're probably between 5,000 and 6,000 planes over the skies in the United States at any given time during the day. Yeah, that's
just enough.
So I had a buddy who just took a cruise from Hawaii to Victoria.
How'd that work?
I didn't know you could do that. It was in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
They do a lot of cruises from Hawaii to North America. It's amazing how many of them, go across.
I've never heard of it before. I have no desire to do that.
Aren't they bringing the ships from somewhere else and just kind of routing them through Hawaii to get them over for the cruise season over here?
Oh,
no, I think they do. I think they do Australia to Hawaii to San Francisco a lot.
More travel, more talk about
travel. Hey,
let's think about this. There's a ton of stuff.
I'm not thinking about it.
In those ships that has to go to the islands.
Oh yeah. A lot of stuff got to go to the islands. Here, so let's do this. Let's do our let's pick the next round. Who's going to be the next round? Give us our final four. Jeff, your final four.
Okay. I think
by next week by this time.
Is it? Do you want me to get it out by tonight? Okay. So I would say right now, I would, after the Winnipeg series, I thought Colorado was loaded for bear, but I think Dallas and Vancouver. And then I'm going to go with Florida. And, I really like where Millard's going with Carolina. And I don't disagree with that, but I'll go with the Rangers. Let's go Rangers. So I'll go Rangers, Florida, and I'll go Dallas, Vancouver.
Okay.
I'm a hometown
Edmonton,
guy.
Dallas, and Carolina, Florida.
Do you go Edmonton, Dallas just because you think it'll be more exciting?
No, I just know different from Jeff.
Okay. I'm going to go New York, Boston. Just be different than both you. And then I'm going to go, I think it's going to be Vancouver, Dallas. I really do think it's going to be Vancouver, Dallas. I think Vancouver has had Edmonton all season and doesn't seem like it's any different now.
Yeah.
Edmonton hasn't taken their game with Vancouver up another notch.
Third string goalie, man. Should Edmonton start their third string goalie, Jack Campbell?
I would be just shaking it right up.
That'd be amazing. Jack Campbell spends the whole years in the minors.
And then they win the cup.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you can star
that's
in
a
the
great
movie.
story. That's a great story.
Yeah.
And the movie's called Soupy.
Soupy and the Bear.
Soupy
Oh
and
my
the Bear,
God.
or
Soupy and the-
Soupy and the Bandit.
Bear soup.
Yes.
All right, Mallard, you got a shout out?
Yeah. Do I have a shout out? I will give a shout out to a person that I work with that does a great job in Shane Noddy, doing some TNT work right now after the first round ended for our broadcast. And watching him with Eddie Olczyk is just good, plain, entertaining, and informative TV.
Nice.
Shane Noddy.
Good for him.
and
Was he expecting
Shane-
that, or was he shocked?
No, he does TNT. He's got a contract
does
with
do- yeah,
TNT.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, he does quite a bit the last few years. He's really good.
No, that's a great shout out, and best dressed guy going too. So those two together are dynamite, and love John Forsland too. I am going to shout out our Lord Bagg. Do you
I'll
want
do
to go
mine. Do you want
next?
me? Do you want me to do mine?
Sure, go for it.
I'd like a shout out to the best fans in the world, Edmonton fans. You guys are always there for your team, and you're always there for me. Shout out to Edmonton Oiler fans, just the most classy people ever, and buying merch and being the best. See you guys in a couple weeks.
Can you imagine if you're a Calgary fan right now?
Oh,
Calgary.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to do a second shout out after Jim.
Yeah, I wish you would have gone after me, because now I'm like, I'm just like, I'm headed down like a lawn dart right now.
Okay, here
So
it goes. Here goes mine.
Well, hang on.
I'll do mine
finish.
again. Here's the Vancouver fans. I would like to shout out Vancouver fans. You've been waiting for a long time for this, and you're finally getting it. It's pretty good. I'd like to shout out Calgary fans, because you guys aren't in the playoffs, but you're still paying attention to the games.
They are in the
and that's
playoffs.
awesome.
Bagger.
Calgary fans are Calgary fans. They're
Bennett,
Oh,
Kachuk,
yeah.
Tanev,
yeah.
Zadorov, Lindholm.
I forgot the Calgary Panthers.
All in the
Big
second
shout
round.
out for the Calgary Panthers. And then, of course, the town that has put most players in the league out of all these teams, and that is the Kelowna fans. Kelowna people, just so good. This is just the greatest fans in the world.
Didn't know you
Kelowna.
were playing Kelowna this week.
Yeah, I'm Kelowna. We've only got 30 tickets left for Kelowna. So if Kelowna fans, I know you'll sell it out, because that's the kind of fans you are. You guys purchase your tickets late, but you come out strong.
Are you at the Pink Palace in Kelowna?
No, I'm at the Rotary Theater, the Rotary Center for the Arts.
Taking a break from the arts that night?
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be the Rotary Center for the Farts that night.
Who's your shout out, Jeff?
Go ahead, Jeff.
I don't have a shout out after that.
You just
only have to
do one of
say-
those. Just do one of those good ones you always do. Thank somebody nice.
No, well, you know what?
Did you
didn't
say
know how
no?
I followed that.
No.
I'm not thanking anybody. You know
Not
what I'm
thanking-
going to shout out? I didn't want to do this because I thought that was so funny, but I'm like, you guilted me into it. I'm going to shout out all the air traffic controllers, Canada and US and Mexico. I'm going to get, because they all do such a good job, such good care of us in the air. And the people in the back have no idea how hard these guys work to get you where you're going, get you around weather, and try and get you there on time. Air traffic controllers, you guys are the best. Thank you so much. Love to all.
Before you love to all it, I have to say there's a TikTok page, and it's it's pilot and air traffic controller fights.
Oh, I love it.
So good.
It's awesome.
So good. man.
Do you know how you get to take your kid to work day in grade
Jeff's
9
like,
or
we
whatever?
wrapped it up. I loved it all.
No,
Do
I
air
love
traffic
it because-
controllers get to take their kids to work day?
No.
Could you imagine? I think, you know what, years ago they did. And I think one of the kids got on the mic and was like, hey, United 2341, clear to taxi Alpha Bravo, Charlie, hold short of Delta. And,
Now you're just
they're
showing
like,
off.
okay, no problem. And then people were flipping out. I just went through the alphabet there. That wasn't anything crazy.
That's pretty awesome.
But you know what? That is so funny because could you imagine? But I think it did happen, and they all got in big trouble. And it's like, big trouble. You don't want big trouble. So
Like that
then-
assistant coach for the baseball team flying in the cockpit?
okay, so just I don't know about that. Yeah, but I will say this. I don't know why in my soapbox why anybody would argue with an air traffic controller. Now, sometimes things go a little sideways. I get that. but
Yeah.
we're a team. We got to figure it out together. So
Oh,
They're
come
so
on. There's a
funny. They're
right
so
and there's
funny.
a wrong. Somebody's
always
always
like-
right. Somebody's always wrong.
yeah, well, you know what?
They always
then
give them a phone number at the end.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
I love
You might,
that.
wa- you might want to write this phone number down.
Yeah,
You
because
don't
they,
wanna
they
hear
have
that.
to phone. They have to phone it in, right?
You don't want to hear that ever. Hey, here's
Really?
you got time for a phone number? Nope. Nope. We got what's the next frequency? You don't ever want to hear that because but once in a while you'll
You ever
give
get a
call.
phone number?
You know what? One time we called on the ground. We said, "Hey, we just want to talk to air traffic control because we just there once in a while you'll get a mix up in wording or whatever else. So we just want to make sure everybody was on the same page and everyone was good. So that's kind of the biggest thing. But yeah, they don't want to give you a phone number, and you don't want to have one. You have to write one down.
I
I'll
think
tell you
Lord
that.
Bagg and I would get a lot of numbers.
Oh, you guys wouldn't even get off the gate, so that's okay. Here's a number.
You might,
Pull the
you
jet
might want to get a
bridge
pen
back
out and
up.
write this number down.
I don't have one. Can you text it to me?
Oh God! All right, I gotta go. I gotta go to the dump. Up tall.
I guess we're done then.